Hello, yeah. Can you record the video or what? Huh? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good evening for all of you. I'm currently in Malaysia. Actually, I'm in the KLIA airport. We just arrived from Penang. From Penang. No, sorry, from Kedah today. And about the meeting. Are you recording the meeting?
It seems that there's no one is recording on it.
Oh, you're not going to get the recorded version. Are you going to use back the recorded version? It's better to have it recorded so that we can use for another purpose later on.
I think it's better to record for the organizers.
And one more thing, we don't have a time limit for this Gmeet. Do you have time limit? Again, sorry. It's better to get it recorded so that we can have a future reference. We can publish. Ah, can you record it? Oh, okay, because I don't see any recording sign over here. Maybe you record the screen, eh? Yes, it's okay. Okay, no problem. Hopefully, we can produce back this video through YouTube or social media so that it can be shared to everybody regarding the topic today. again, thank IES, the Institution of Engineers Somalia, for inviting me for this session. I'm very honored to be with all of you, far from Somalia there, and we are here from Malaysia. And can I know, do I have any my students, my ex-student from the University of Malaysia Police here today? Do we have them? And any of you from the UNIMED before or graduated from UNIMED? UTHM, or also from Malaysia. Yeah. Okay, it's okay now. So I got quite many friends from Somalia. In fact, um, but it's okay. Now, for the purpose of this topic, let me share the screen. I will going towards um, on how we are actually conducts our okay, anti-screen, our code of conduct or code of ethics here in Malaysia. But before that, let me introduce you for few important agencies or important what we call it, caretaker or stakeholders of engineering profession in Malaysia. So we start with this Board of Engineers Malaysia. This is the website of the Board of Engineers Malaysia. In here we have information about many things, and this is actually the agency who govern and regulate engineering profession in Malaysia. Same goes to the engineering education. So the engineering, um, I mean, engineering profession is not only governed through this the Board of Engineers. We are also doing this accreditation for the program, engineering program or engineering technology program here in Malaysia. We are subscribing to the Washington Accord through the International Engineering Alliance, and that is where we are all here today. And when we are working with engineering work. So we should have one agencies who govern it under the law of law of the countries lah. In this case, Malaysia. So, but before that, we go to accreditation, where we have our accreditation council, the Engineering Accreditation Council (EAC). You can read from here. We got also one more is Engineering Technology Accreditation Council to work on this engineering program, and this one will look into the engineering technology program. So from here, basically, the engineering profession um, is started. So because we do have our engineering program run under our own engineering accreditation council, and then the profession for engineers um, exists. So this is our Engineering Accreditation Council's websites, where everything on engineering education starts from here. And we are not alone. We are actually following about another 40 countries in the world, while we are subscribing into this International Engineering Alliance. So this is where the things started. For Malaysia and all these countries, Korea, Russia, China, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, Ireland, Hong Kong, China, Taipei, Singapore, Japan, India, and all this, up to here, Indonesia. Basically, we are part of the signatories accord, where we run the engineering education in our countries through this engineering alliance. So for full rights, we have the full rights accord in the IEA, International Engineering Alliance, here all these countries, and we have also provisional status recognized before they become full signatory, such as Chile, Thailand, Myanmar, South Africa, Nigeria, and Mauritius. So plus this one, about 40 countries, plus this one, then we are having about close to 50 countries in the world who are looking into engineering um, what we call as engineering education in Malaysia. So this is very clear because we want to start from there, where we are actually originate in our profession as an engineer. So I don't see Somalia is yet in this list. It's okay. To me, we have no problem with that because it's just one of the signatories that available for our engineers to propel in the countries that subscribing to the same accords, so that we can have this mutual recognition between countries to work to and fro. Either these countries can work here in Malaysia, the graduates, or those countries, sorry, our country in Malaysia can work in their countries as a mutual understanding or mutual standards that we are following for these signatures through IEM. Other than that, we have also other agreements, but it doesn't matter. At the same time, we have the Sydney Accords, where this is for the engineering technology. This one for engineering technology. The first one is actually for the engineering program. The second one is for engineering technology program, and same goes to the countries that back to back for those who are there too. And we got one more to work on the engineering technician, the diploma programs, engineering diploma programs. So these are the source of power where we can talk about this topic tonight, where we start with the engineering education right after your equivalence to A level or A level, equivalent to A level. So here is actually the signatories for this country. We have also the same thing in Sydney, for example. Singapore, we have the social signatory, Malaysia also part of it, and this is how the engineering education been governed, controlled, and been regulated for all these countries following the same same manuals, so that we can deliver the engineering education as far as the quality of other countries too. In that matters, our engineers should be par with other engineers countries according to these signatories at the same time. So that is the basic. That's the basic that I need to explain to you tonight, where our work is actually to not only to have a code and conduct engineers, but we need to ensure that we produce the engineers based on the standards that subscribed by the countries. That is the first thing that we need to touch on tonight. So here in Malaysia, we have a few, programs. Also from here, we can see all programs. Engineering education is actually IES. So you refer to this IE, sorry, ESC. So all this program is listed in our website from Engineering Accreditation Council, where the program is actually audited and giving the recognition for us to produce the student. For example, UNIMED, for example, here we can see these are all programs is accredited until 2027, 2024, until 2027. This one until 2028. This one until 2024 is now coming. This one all labs already lah. So here actually the final where we want to start our engineering career through the accredited program by the universities. And we also assist few countries in developing their own engineering accreditation processes. And I am very happy to assist if Somalia want to go for this EAC at the same time, so that we can feel it in the same ambience as other universities or others engineering programs too, from other country where we subscribe for the International Engineering Alliance manual for to produce the engineers according to the standard. That is the first one. So here in Malaysia, we have the Board of Engineers as the regulatory bodies looking after not only engineers but also engineering students. Engineering students. So we look after the engineering students look into start from the engineering students become the engineers, or they are registered as engineers in our countries as a practicing engineers. So this is the, I mean, the background of the engineering education here that we are conducting here in Malaysia. So that is the first part of my introductory. Secondly, when talk about engineers, we are also supported by other institutions. So, for example, in Malaysia, we have this the IEM, the Institution of Engineers Malaysia. So here is actually where our engineers or engineering members subscribe to, so that they can have I mean the assistance in terms of their career, in terms of their progression and whatnot. So in IEM also we have this professional conduct and discipline, but there is more to the localized IEM consumption. For example, every member shall be bound to the constitution, bylaw and regulation for the institution. So they are not looking into the I mean backup by any what we call that acts or regulation backed up by the government. So this is actually for institutional practice only. So every corporate member shall at time to order to his conduct to uphold the discipline So this is all we got about 16 items, and following the bylaws of the institutions, we have this also spelled in our IEM as one of the code of the professional conduct of engineers from the IEM. So whoever enter IEM as a member, so they are bound to this code of professional conduct to cover all eventualities not ethical principles. Almost every case of doubt as to the proper course of action required to confirm to the code of professional conduct arises from the conflict between a member's personal interest and his duty to others. So it's just to protect among members. So the regulations and professional conduct for IEM as the institutional is not a government body, is to protect among the members' interests. So regulation issued by the council to interpret the code indicate in this manner, which members are required to conduct themselves in number of situations that frequently encountered in other situation. Members are required to order their conduct in accordance with the principle that in any conflict between members' personal interest and fair and honest dealing with other members, so the equity his duty to committee must prevail. So here is actually to manage the conflict. So the professional conducts under IEM as the institutional body or learned body is more to manage the conflict among the members, to manage the conflict among the members. Is not sufficient enough to be regulated, because it's actually under their own constitutional. So if you open up, for example, the IES, the International Institution of Engineers Somalia, I think that the IES will be also related to us by having another personnel or another individual to take care of. So that is the basic of mutual professional conduct among the engineers. This is the best example where I think, in my opinion, IES will come to this to get a member a boundary where they can manage their conflicts. They can avoid to be in a conflict, so that the profession will be safeguarded by all members itself. So remember, our profession and our membership in either IEM or IES is actually for us. For us, no one will take care of us. Only us, as the member of this IEM IES, need to take care of ourselves. So being in the IES, meaning to say that you should bound to a mutual recognizable code of ethics, of code of professional conduct, so that everybody is taken care, everybody is protected against the wrongdoings of other members. That is the basic. The following regulations on professional conduct are made by the council under section 4 and 2 of the bylaws and employer, including the clients, include the client. So now, here they have spelled about 14, 15, 15 things that require a member to behave, to avoid any conflicts. While these 11, 11 constitutional provision as a member. So we need to differentiate between regulated code of conducts and voluntary code of conduct. So in this case, IEM or even IES is actually a voluntary organization that is open for everybody that able to join to become a member. So in IEM, we have these memberships. We're starting from the students, associate, where we start our associate members, and then we can be the affiliate of the institution, we can be the incorporated of the institution, then we can be graduate. Graduate member is actually the graduate engineers who are graduating or graduated from the engineering program that I've shown before. So it's actually a set of knowledge that you need to understand about the engineering education. Then we go for engineering practice, where we start with this graduate engineers or graduate members. In this IEM, we name them as a graduate members. Then we have the engineering technician for diploma holders. We have this engineering technologies graduate for engineering technologies holders. We have the senior graduate for those who come from graduates and become senior member of graduate, then become member IEM. Member IEM is actually a corporate member where you start your professional as a professional. We name it as a, it's not probational, it's actually a support for to become a member. Then we have the engineering technician member, we have the engineering technology members, we have the senior member, we have the fellow on the top of the membership available in the IEM Malaysia. So this is actually how we do the practice. From here, then we develop the professional development programs. We should prepare the practical training, the examination, the accreditation and qualification, and subscription and annual fees, benefits, and all these things comes together under membership. IEM, we have this professional conduct for those member who registered voluntary in in the institution as a member. So you are not supposed to, I mean, be bound to this if you are not a member. It's actually a constitutional among the members only. This is part that we as a we having increasing members. If you have a small members number, should be no problem. But if you have about 20 to 30,000 members, then it become harmonize everything among our members. So IM has individual. So one way to protect them, or one way to protect everybody, is to set up rules and regulations on how they will behave in the institution. So there is actually the regulations on the professional conduct of engineers or professional conduct of members under the IEM in Malaysia. So these all about 15 items. I don't want to read them one by one because we are not going to go for this tonight. Basically, we are going towards the board of engineers code of conduct because it's regulated. This one is not regulated. It's constitutional provision if you become the member. The board of engineers is regulated. If you are engineering graduates and working as engineers, you should register as engineer as a mandatory requirement under the registration of engineers act. So I need you to differentiate these two. So this is one of the example of the one institutional of IEM, and the institution of control among their members. That is the second thing. The third thing now, I want to show you another learned body, which is Malaysia Society of Engineering and Technology. We have one more, MySet, as example, to work on this professional organization for those as a learned body, where we do quite substantial contribution, and we have also the memberships here, and also of course, if they have the membership, they should come with a code of conduct too. So that is actually the way we have student members, ordinary members, and also associate members that become FMSET fellow of MySet. So this is the important thing. And of course, when it comes to this, we cannot run away from being bound by the constitutional code of conducts too. So things like this is normal for those who are having members in, I mean, the membership among the association or institution or even the organization. You should have these regulations in a matter of code of conduct when you are become the member. Same goes to the workplace. Even though we don't name it as a code of conduct, there must be a regulations. There must be a guidelines in order for you to work with other people, so that other people interests will become part of your responsibility too, to work with. So we got these two learned body. We name it as a learned body, where all this actually learned body is working on the members of our engineering plus the technology members inside this um, what we call this council. I'm also one of the council member over here in IEM too. So this is actually the way that we can work together. This is one of the another example beside IEM just now. And we got one more just to introduce you another um, members or another in this case the practicing engineers who has their own firm, and they gather everybody in this ACM so that they can represent their firm, not their individual anymore, but this one also same goes, but the difference is actually this one is for uh, the company and also the membership, of course, and of course it comes together with this rules and regulation. Same thing, same. I mean the approach. And we got one more just to have more in this case, which is MAE, Malaysian Association of Engineers. Same thing, not the same thing, of course. They become more and more branch out from the same interest. We have the interest to take care of our engineers. We have an interest to take care of our members. So this is another membership also here available in Malaysia too. So I don't want to get you confused. All this we were talking about ACM, we were talking about the mindset, we were talking about the IM. I think that is enough for you to see how our engineering profession is so attractive for to many peoples, and yet they are opening up to introduce one by one. It's not necessary for you to because, for example, this one is represented by about 800 ACM members, about 481 firm, and panel firm is about 204, 209 panel members. So from here, we have the numbers of statistic in terms of our memberships for this ACM. So same goes to IEM. So I think the same thing. They have also their own, so I mean, what we call this, uh, data in terms of their membership, but I cannot find where are they lah. I cannot find where are they. So here, I think they have got this directory, but I'm not sure about other members lah. So here is actually where we can follow through and see is there any similarities on what we are practicing there in the Somalia. So now we go back to the topic where we want to touch on this Board of Engineers professional conduct. So that is more important for us to see what is actually happening when we talk about the engineering code of conduct. We started with engineering education, then we go for the engineering learned body, which is IEM, ACM, MySet, and also MAE, and other than that too. So now we come back to the board engineer to see the actual originality of the programs, or originality of the engineering education, and the actual caretaker of our engineering members in Malaysia. So that is the first one. So I want to share you another document. From here, we got a few references. Resource Center about BM, for example. BM is a regulatory body under the Parliamentary Acts, the Registration of Engineers Act, where from the Acts is required us to open up this Board of Engineers to take care of our engineering professions. So the purpose of the Board of Engineers is actually to work on engineers, how to regulate the engineering profession. So that is more important. And in doing that, we need also to do many things, not only to regulate as our utmost important task. So we are also need to structure it, starting from the engineering education, engineering or engineers registrations, and go for engineers accreditation and examinations, and then engineering professions, engineering practice, and later on up to the engineering services, starting from not only local but also recognizable to the other countries too. So this is the Board of Engineers from Malaysia. So come back to here, and we can land to the important areas where we want to talk about tonight or today. So here we have this registered person. Okay, in the Board of Engineers, we have starting from the professional engineer with practicing certificate, we have about 9,000 members, or 9,000 registered person. This is registered person. We have the professional engineer, about 9,000 of them. We have the accredited checker for structural work, 13. Accreditation checker for geotechnical, we have 15. And we have what, 21,000, sorry, 216,000, 19,000, 219,000 graduate engineers. So these backed by the Parliamentary Acts. The first three association, institutional, and also the mindset is voluntary. Is a more to the learned body to support the engineering activities. This one is regulated. Regulated has a huge difference between regulated and non-regulated. And we have about 18,000 engineering technologies, and we have about 6,000 the inspector of work. So these are, we name them as a registered person. So once we start to register, if we graduate with a engineering degree program and intend to take up employment as an engineer, or do the engineering activities or engineering services practices, you are bound to the acts to get yourself registered as a graduate engineers according to the acts. and failure to that, you can be punishable under the Malaysian regulations or Malaysian acts. So that is the first step where everybody exit from the engineering education from any what we call it recognized universities that I mentioned from this the IEA just now, International Engineering Alliance. Once you exit as a graduate engineer, a graduate engineering student, graduated engineering students, and you are intend to take up employment as an engineer or do the work based on the engineering principles, you should register. You not should, you must register. It's a mandatory registration under the acts for you to take up the employment as engineer or conducting the engineering work. So that is the first thing when we graduated. That is the thing that we need to do. So we follow through the engineering, the graduate engineers trail. Later on, they will go for assessment and they will become the professional engineer. And after that, you got one more assessment to become the professional engineer with the practicing certificate. So this is the part one. We have about 1,294 body corporate companies. We have a SOPRO about 1,247, partnership 193, multidisciplinary 47. In total up, we are having about 5 to 6 or 2,700 companies conducting or producing the engineering consultancy practices. So this is the data on our members and our companies. This is all about person. This is all about the companies. So we got two work over here. So similarly, if you see on the association just now, for example, there has about 209 firm plus 481 firm. So we have about 600 or close to 700 compared to the board of engineers just now here, right? Here in this one. So about 700 from these members lah. So 2,600 companies. We have about 700 registered under another association to support the work. So this is important because from here we know where should we go as part of our ethics requirement or ethics ethical or code of conduct obligation under the act. So this is the part one that we need to understand first very, very well. So now, if we move next, is actually we want to go for another part, which is resource center. From here, we go for our act form and downloads. And we can see the circular and guideline, or even here, acts and regulations. And these are the document that we need to talk tonight. This one, this one, this one. So we got three main document to be explained tonight, which is or today, which is I don't think that we got enough time to talk about all this. But I'm trying my best. Hopefully we can have it through. This is the first document. This one is the second document regulation. This is the third one where we talk about it. So here, if you want to go through, this is the X. This one is regulation. This one is the code of professional conduct. But we cannot miss any of them because it all related. Everything is related. So now, if you go for here, now I have downloaded it and put it here so that it's more convenient for us. So now, if you go for registration of engineers X 1967 and the amendment up to 2015, actually, after 10 years, we're going to amend to do the amendment for 2025, and it should be ready by this year. The work have been carried out. I think the draft also there. It's just the matter of getting the full approval for us to run this. So now here for this is actually the parliamentary acts is under the law. So it's actually acts under the law, and from here, for example, it's actually bound to the parliamentary act. It's been as a as a to get the practice. So what else should you? Okay. Okay, we will go through some important part for this X. Then we move to this document. Then we move to this document. Then we move to this document to talk about the code of conduct. So this is the important part. But we cannot talk about this if we don't talk about the previous part. So this is so coherent, so related that we cannot miss one of them. So we got one more code of conduct circular. This one is actually on circular number 1. This is circular number 2005. But it's okay. Now, we talk about X first lah. So whatever just related to our code of conduct only. Okay, so we start to discuss about X138 here. Now, here, revise to the 15th. So from here, we go one by one and see what is related to us only for this topic tonight. So this act, I need to explain that this act provides to registered engineers partnership a body corporate providing professional engineering services. This is the keyword, professional engineering services, and for the purpose of connected therewith. Register of Engineer X, then the minister, because it part is the Ministry of Work. Okay, and we have few important what we call this terminologies. So excuse me. We have board, body corporate, engineering consultancy practices, engineering works. So engineering works means all works which include any publicly or privately owned public utilities, buildings, machine, equipment, process, work or project that require the application of engineering, require the application of engineering principles and data. So that is our definition when we want to define what is engineering work. If you want to define what is engineering works, this is the direct definition in our act. So that from this definition, we can work on this one, we can work on this one. Then only we can govern. Okay, then we have the first entry level members, which is the graduate engineers. This is the inspector. And of course, we have the minister, but we don't want to talk about him because he is the highest authority in terms of approving this acts, or actually the caretaker of the acts. And we got one more definition, which is practicing certificate. And we have professional engineers. And we have these professional engineers with practicing certificate when you combine these two. And then we have the professional engineering services. Here we have engineering works. This one we have professional engineering services. Means engineering services and advice in connection with any feasibility study, planning, survey, design, construction, commission, operation, maintenance, and management of engineering works or project, and includes other engineering services approved by the board. So this definition and this definition need to work together because engineering works and engineering services should be hands in hands, because when we want to conduct the engineering services, we need to do the engineering works. So it's actually the clear definition on what is the important part when we define as an engineer. Because why? because we need to define who is actually connected to the engineering works, because we want to regulate to define them very well. We need to define the members very well. Then we have the registered person. Other that is not important for you. Huh? Then we have the board. So let me say this one is actually for the board of engineers, the purpose act. So to support the act. Actually, the what we call is the oppression of the operation of the act need to do under the one office, one secretariat office. So this is actually the secretariat office for the acts lah. So the board of engineers is established due to that lah, here in Malaysia. Okay, these are all members. We can skip. We skip that part. And we have also the IEM, we have the board again, but we try to straight to the our key points tonight. Okay. Okay. This one we skip the registration, we skip. Just to give you fundamental knowledge about that. We don't want to get it too complicated. We skip, we skip, we skip. Okay, this is part of ethics too. The registration of engineers, engineer to register and inspector of work. Okay, this is part of the ethics too, where no person shall, unless he is the professional engineer, this is ethics. No person shall, unless he is a PE, take up employment, be entitled and investor or settled professional engineer, IR, and PH, display, PE, STEM. So we need to say that only PE has their STEM, and what we call that, introduce himself as a professional engineer. So that is the first thing. And we have the second one, a person shall not, unless he is a PEPC, practice, carry out business, take up employment, professional engineering services for designated engineering work subject to section 8 before, be entered inside the PEPC, PEPC, PEPC. So the difference is actually for the PE above is ethics for those who are graduate engineers registered with the board of engineers cannot portray himself or herself as a PE until he passed the assessment by the board lah. Or the same thing, he cannot portray himself as a professional engineer with the practicing certificates if they are not passing, if they are not the actual PEPC. That is basic because you cannot pass the assessment yet here in Malaysia, but not for other countries lah. You can practice in fee charge recommendation, other formation recommendation. Okay, the one is okay, and use the stamp. Any fee charge, use the stamp. Okay, now you are graduate engineers. You can use the grad engineers. Engineers, you can use ETech after the name. This is another one. after. Go. In our definition, notwithstanding subsection, we can take up the employment. G, ET, perform professional engineering services, employment. So of course, this one you can be a engineer. This one is technologist. Okay, or ETech. Okay, and we got one more members who are the inspector of work. This one is diploma engineer. And we have PE, can also come from the IEM corporate members here. But this one we don't want to discuss lah. Huh? Okay, now then we skip this part. We skip this part also. Huh? Don't have to. Okay. Okay. Now, previously we were talking about PE, PEPC, and IOW, and also engineering tech. Here, we want to talk about sole prop, partnership, or body corporate company. So this is also an ethics. Okay. So now, if you want to open up a company, a sole proprietorship or partnership or body corporate, we need to follow these rules. These rules. So under control management, who you want them? Today, the FA will should be under the control and management who person who a PE with PC. So it's tight. If you want to open up a company, you need a PEPC. Okay. So this is the things that we want to do. In the case of partnership, all the partners are professional engineer with specific or in the case of body corporate, it's a board of directors who shall subject. So this is no PE, no PE, no PE, and this one we know PE. So as a body corporate concern, as a body corporate concern is there. And then, okay, this one we skip, because we want to go for code of ethics. But I'm starting to introduce the terms that govern the code of ethics under our rules. Okay. Okay, now. And engineering consultancy may only provide professional engineering preservation the branch of the branch of engineering with a sole partner or even member of the civil expertise process and shown in relation subsection 5(2). So we need to say that we can only perform of engineering services if we are a PEPC and registered company. So that is the things. Okay. Other than that, we skip. So I've introduced you the name of the person who are involved, and secondly, the company establishment, either sole prop or body corporate or partner. It's all allowed, but you need to have the PE inside your organization. So that is the ethics, another ethic that you need to bound together. Okay. Okay, here we skip, we skip, we skip because not related to code of ethics. Letter AC, we skip accredited checker, disciplinary committee. This is things that working on ethics issues plus legal. Not only ethical, but also legals. It will be taken care by our disciplinary committee. We have our disciplinary committee to take about that assessment. Okay. Okay. Then the misconduct complaints against any registered person referred to the IC or any combination for those. Okay, now then we can cancel, remove, or reinstate. So due to the misconduct or unethical removal of the PE. So this is considered as the action that can be taken on misconduct. Okay, we can cancel the registration, we can remove the registration too. So that is the punishment. For those who are not following either the code of conduct or code of practices and been complained by other engineers. So if that the case, I show you one thing which is very, very important. In our website, we have this. In our website, we have this thing. Feedback is one thing. Okay, this is feedback for the form. And we got one more here. Which is, wait, we need time to download. Penalty. And all this comes with penalty. Penalty too. So this is where our profession is tightly governed by the regulations and acts. By regulation and acts. So this is important for you as part of the information regarding the practices. Okay, now we go back to our previous document, which is this one. Okay, now you have seen through how the engineering education from the beginning of this topic, then we move to the registration. Once you graduated with engineering degree, you should register yourself as a professional, as a graduate engineer, and you profile or you escalate your registration from GE to PE by having this PAE, professional assessment, and then you go towards becoming a body corporate or company or even a partnership or sole prop to deliver your engineering services. And everything along the way, you are bound to the adherence for the all professional and code of conducts. If you miss out anything and you got reported, complained by other, complained by other engineers, other registered person, you are bound to this cancellation, removement of your title of your license. So that is the whole process. Okay. Now we move forward. So we start to move forward to this is the company in general. And now we arrive to skip this part. So this is all the list of the amendment. All the list of amendment. So this is the first document that I want to show you today. And then we move to the second document, which is this one. But this one is actually the explanatory notes to latest amendment, the first one, the previous one. But if you look into the content, it's quite similar, but with additional of notes to explain about the previous. So here we have our code of conduct too. Here. Now I'm starting to explain about the code of conduct. So it's very long journey, about 1 hour, to explain to you about the background of the problems that we are going to solve during this lecture tonight. And now we just arrived Malaysia. Oh, we don't have the permission. It's okay. Tak apa later. Because I don't have the permission to draw on this, but it's okay. We have to, every registered person shall conduct himself honorably, responsibly, ethically, and also lawfully. So that is the first statement by the board when we talk about the code of conduct item, section 23. And the registered person, remember who is the registered person? Whoever registered to the board, either he is the engineering technologies and above, everybody, accredited checker and all these registered person under the board. We have how many categories? We mentioned about registered person. The registered person of the board of engineers is all this. These are the registered person of the engineers. So here, if you go for view the directory, you can see them, you can find them. And one more is importantly, we can type their name here lah. So we can find every of them here in these areas too lah. Okay, we don't want to talk about that. Now we go back to this one. Registered person discharge his professional duties with due skill, care, diligence, and good faith. So that is the statement 24A. At all times, hold paramount the safety, health, and interest of the public. Take reasonable steps to reduce foreseeable adverse effects of professional engineering spaces on the environment. So these are the three important things when we want to conduct our business regarding engineering services, engineering technology services, inspector of work, accredited checker. These are the boundary that we need to work on. We need to discharge our professional duties with this due skill, care, and also diligence and good faith. At all time, hold a paramount the safety, health, and interest of the public, and reasonable steps to reduce foreseeable adverse effects of professional engineering services in our working environment. Our employer, if we are working to other employers or we are working to our client, we discharge his duty to his or client, as the case may be, with complete fidelity. So we want to have our engineers very responsible to whatever they do as a registered person of the board of engineers. We cannot, shall not maliciously injure or attempt to maliciously injure whether direct or indirect the professional reputation. So we need to take care of our reputation. So the first part, we want to make sure we deliver our task honorably, responsibly, ethically, and lawfully, and we discharge our duties at the best that we can do. The third part, we try to not complete fidelity, completely done. As the fourth one is actually we not to punish our 1, 2, 3, 4 as an introduction. As an introduction for whoever want to work as an engineers or registered person through the Board of Engineers Malaysia. These are our duties to deliver. And the next one, the registered person shall not canvass or solicit professional employment. Hmm? We do not offer any gift of valuable consideration or pay a commission or brokerage fee in order to secure professional employment. So this is regarding our anti-bribery issues, except as permitted by the board, advertised in a manner or form in connection with our profession, provide professional engineering services to any person, unless the scope of such services are clearly defined in a written agreement between both parties. We offer, give, solicit, or receive either directly or indirectly any contribution we may reasonably constitute as having an effect, the intent, influencing the award of the contract. So this is to take care of our work. The first previous part is our personal. This one, when we want to start to communicate or to start to work with other people, this is what we need to do. Then this is for ourselves as a registered engineer. But while we are working in the company as the engineering consultancy practice, we shall not to canvass or solicit to provide a professional engineering services except as permitted by the board, or offer any gift and blah blah blah. Just now, it's a no gift policy, and then accept the permitted by the board, advertise in any manner, provide information exclusive and client dan others. Offer gift or receive directly, indirectly. So same A, B, C, D, E for both company and also done for the company, but the content are the same. We are not supposed to do that. That is the code of conduct of engineers too. Okay, a registered person or an engineer, now they combine all this. A registered person or an engineering consultancy practice shall not be a medium of payment made by his client behalf unless he is required to be requested to his client, nor shall he, in connection with the work which is employed, place contract or others, except with the authority and of behalf of his client. Okay, we need to say that we shall not be a medium of payment on his client behalf unless he is requested to do so. So if we are clients, we should not become uh, an account for them to pay, uh, unless we are asked to do so in connection with the work or work that we have been employed, place, contract, or order, except with the authority of. So we need to work with authority. Restriction on making payment or placing contract. We have the restriction to do that. And registered person, engineering consultant shall not supplant or attempt to supplant another registered engineer or engineering consulting practices. We are not going to intervene or take over the work of another as our bound to the registration of engineers regulation, or what we call it as a code of ethics of engineers. So see how it be defined, starting from yourself, your internal. This is our yourself, which is our moral values, our preset or predetermined values, where we want to conduct our work. We need to be abide of all this. Secondly, to do limited. We don't want to do over advertise. So things like that is need to be, because we are need to differentiate our activities as engineering profession compared to other activities of marketing. We are not supposed to involve with the current trends of marketing, especially when we go for boundaryless marketing, such as TikToks, and try to sell your service through the project, and we should not take over other engineers' work, either by intention, other engineers too. As what we want them to respect our profession, we also want they also want us to respect their professions. Yeah? So we are not supposed to supplant or attempt to supplant another engineer's work. We cannot intervene or attempt to intervene in a connection with engineering works. Any kind of his knowledge be entrusted another research person, or take over any work that been conducted or that be appointed by other engineers. This is to avoid unhealthy competition. So one party has been awarded the project, we come in to supplant, we come in to take over his job. Is not allowed as our code of conduct. Obtain the consent or other reason person, we can do that or other engineering consulting purposes, been formally notified by the client that the project be terminated according to provision or any contract operation engineering service entered in between the engineer or the engineer basis in the client. So we need to notify, formally notify. To whom? To the existing client. So that is the thing. Client in this case is also the employer. Is also the employer. Okay. In the case of dispute or non-payment fees or contract or any outstanding fees under contract, the client may request the board to be the stakeholders. So if there's things that happen where involve the monetary things, which is cannot resolve between these two engineers, the board may come to assist or to facilitate the process of negotiating. So that is things that been also spelled in our code of conduct. Okay, this one. Okay, now is to accept restriction of being director as an engineers in a contracting or manufacturing company. We are not supposed to involve as a practicing engineers with the contractor at the same time, or with the manufacturing company for the same time, for due to the conflict of interest things. So at the same time, if we are a contractor or even a manufacturer, we can do that, but with the prior approval of the board. For example, you are a civil engineer and you are doing the civil engineering consultancy practices services, and at the same time you own, for example, a batching plant. Of course, in your your documentation, you want the contractors later on appointed to buy the mixed concrete from your plant, because you having another companies who run over the production or manufacturing of who can write it in your description of work, but you need to take up an approval to do that from the board. So that is the thing that you need to control, because we don't want the engineers and the manufacturing with the same person. It's not healthy to because it will definitely leads to the conflict of interest between yourself and as an engineers, or as a what we call this providing the engineering services with yourself as the manufacturing company to produce your own uh, I mean materials that usable in your another contracts. So you may take two employment in that basis, which is not allowed. But you can get it by having the prior approval from the board. If such approval is given, staff registered engineer shall not undertake any contract within he engaged to provide operation engineering services unless it's a design and build work. So if it's been awarded, you can take that as your part of your. Of course, you can perform in these two areas, but at the same time, you need to differentiate yourself, and you try to isolate yourself to make any important decision when it comes to that interest or conflict of interest arise from this exercise. Every registered engineer while acting in the professional capacity shall disclose directly to the client, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this one is another thing. Okay, now I think that's the end of our code of conduct within this document. So this one is more to the consultancy practices. Even part of it also a conduct too, but I don't want to touch it except we have the clear definition of it. It's examination, the examination, revoke, and all these things lah as a document. So this the acts. This one is regulation. Again, I cannot have a permission to do this thing, but it's okay, no problem. So I'll try to mark up possible document. This is our second last. This one, okay, we got one more document. So we try to have finish straight away. We want to talk about this Registration of Engineers Act regulations. We go straight to Code of Conduct, section 23. You go straight to here. Okay, here. Every registration conduct, this one we have discussed just now. I think the same thing. The same thing. So good. We can make it faster. So one more document. Also, we have discussed just now through our of our X to calculation. So here, now we move to the second last document where we talk about the code of conduct directly. Okay. Circular number 1. The important part of it is actually we're talking about the qualification. We cannot falsify the qualification. Misinterpretation, exaggerating, meaning to say that you oversell. Okay. Due diligence, accuracy of facts, data. This is for claim to check. Okay. Pretending his position, this is speed of service. Responsible. So this is thing that I want to highlight or I want to simplify to you, huh? So just follow through my short note over here. Because the law terms and law paragraph sometimes will make you confused. But we want to take the gist of it so that you can understand what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed not to do. So whatever I mark here is law terms, but we will just simplify the terms by add on this simplified sentence. The president shall not estimate qualified education and experience. This one is only work, only accept the work that you are best on it. So, for example, if you are civil engineers working on the general buildings, we're talking about the foundation, we're talking about the structure, we're talking about the cement, concreting, we're talking about this design work on the building. But suddenly there's someone offers you, for example, the work related to maybe hydrology, river, things that you haven't good at education or experience. So in that case, you can take the employment, but you need to work with other experienced and qualified engineers to assist you, because we want it to be uh, because as engineers we don't know, we not supposed to know everything 100%, but we're supposed to know where to find the information. So that is the thing here, because our mindset is actually we understand that not all engineers will be understand on all subject matters, but the important is we understand where to find the answer. So that is the spirit of it. Of course you can take, but you need to appoint another partners to work with that lah. So this is but in this 1.1.4 sign only those engineering documents that he has prepared or has been prepared under direction and control. This one is actually fully participate. Fully participating. You cannot just sign a document which is you don't participate. You don't know anything, but you sign. Yeah, it's not allowed. So this one, a registered person with participation shall not accept assignment and assume responsibility for coordination of an entire project and sign stamp PE the engineering document for the entire project unless the engineering document for each technical segment of the project is signed and stamped personally by the qualified person who is involved in the respective segment of the project. So, shall not accept assignment unless the engineering document for each technical segment of the project is signed and stamped personally by a qualified person who is involved in the respective segment of the project. So this is actually no lump sum signature. So if the project is segmentized, we understand that we don't know every segment of it. So the way to escape is actually to have few engineers involved in the same project and the work being carried out professionally by the respective engineers who know the best about it and deliver his work. Towards that, you will be part of the signatories beside other engineers at the same time. So there is the statement of 1.1.6. No lump sum signature. No lump sum signature. So I've tried to put up my notes for each of these practice engineer certificate, starting from 1.1 up to here, just to ensure or just to share with you that this is what we need to do if we are the engineers. Okay, now we move to the next one. The registered information business shall be in objective, in truthful, making professional report, statement, and testimonies, pertinent information. This is actually responsible on the accuracy of work. That is the statement. So that basically that is the statement. We need to responsible to the accuracy of work. We cannot just having this assumption, presumption along the works. Next, this is actually to avoid. So that is the statement. Only talk on the method that you are confirmed. We don't do something that publicly technical opinion upon his competence and knowledge. So if we know best about that part, then we can issue our statement on that part. We don't talk about other things which we don't know, but as engineer you try to I mean what we call that, try to express that you know everything. That is so wrong. Because we just know a few segment of works only. If you don't know about it, we don't have to take any responsibility to talk about it. Try to minimize our what we call that interactions with the things that we don't know. So that is the 1.1.8. Technical matters that are inspired or paid by the interested parties unless he prefaces his comment by explicitly identifying the interested parties on whose behalf he is speaking on the revealing the existence and here in the matter. So again, same thing. No public statement of things that we don't know. Yes. So this is to offense. So this is to notify before. Okay. Court. So we need to respond to inform the board if we are convicted of offense involve false or negligent certification, fraud or dishonest similar or we are bankrupt. So we need to respond. We need to inform the board that we are under these two categories. Because why? Because we are not supposed to be an engineer's because we want to protect the whole profession. We want to protect the whole profession as well as a whole engineering members or registered person. We don't want to have one or two uh, uh, unhealthy situation that can tarnish our reputation. So this is to maintain a good reputation. So there is statement for that. Okay, now settle of it. If we move to PEPC 1.2, this one related to falsified qualification. This one is related to control or supervision. So meaning to say that in this 1.1 and 1.2 is talking about the first part, our responsibility and our do and don'ts when we talk about signature, when we talk about our business, when we talk about our responsibility of work, and we talk about our endorsement, things like that. But 1.2 is talking about uh, the work that we need to supervise our work. We just need to certify satisfactory completion of or installation of that work, satisfied in the construction installation, fulfill requirements, design and spec, sign if you endorse, if only we are fully satisfied. Okay, the second one, we take a liability, responsibility prior to his taking over. A person who takes over a piece of work shall assume all liability and responsibility for the works done prior to his taking over. So ensure we know the condition of work before we take over. So that is the statement. To try to simplify the statement. The third one, how many things? Okay, I think we stop at here because all these things starting from 2.1 2.0 is all the same. It's all the same. Only where we positioning ourselves as a engineer, professional engineer or professional engineer with practicing certificate. So we can finish there. A registered professional engineer with practicing certificate shall not reveal facts, data, or information prior consent of the client or employer, past and present, except the authorized by the required law with such information and contract held. Okay. Keep what we call that um, confidential. Hmm? So that's the meaning by that. A registered person, violation of legal conduct or any law or regulation should report thereon to employer or the appropriate professional bodies and where relevant also to public authorities to cooperate with the appropriate professional bodies or the appropriate authority furnishing some information or assistance may be required. So this one is to report on misconduct or infringement. for sure. Okay. And the last one, when the professional advice is person president contrary with his percent of everything shall the amendment may be has been a great trust resolution that may endanger the safety of the public authorities rule or our opinion is not accepted with potential damage of public. So inform if our opinion is accepted with potential damage of public interest. So this is the statement for 1.2.5. So other than that, I think it's just a repetition, only the change to where our name. But of course, for the oh sorry, one more. We got one more, huh? Sorry, one more. This is related to not to accept benefit from more than one party. Okay. What if you want to take up two employments or two contracts from the same projects? Is it allowed? Financial or otherwise from more than one party for professional engineering services on the same project or professional engineering services pertaining to the same project unless the circumstances are fully disclosed and agreed by all interested parties. Avoid conflicts of interest. A registered professional engineering shall disclose all known potential conflicts of interest that may influence or appear to influence his judgment, the equality of his services. Isolate, exclude from decision making if has conflict of interest. Okay. The third one, reservation shall not solicit or accept any consideration financial otherwise directly or is avoid no commission, no commission policy as uh, uh, no commission policy uh, for the engineers. The fourth one, the research project engineer will receive acting as advisor to the company uh, agency shall not participate in the decision, not participate in the decision with respect to the professional engineer spaces solicited on his question. So this one is actually on exclude ourselves in the decision making if we have the code of conflict of interest. And the last one, I think. Shall not solicit a step to a contract from body agency, principal organization, a member of the body agency, and labor the body agency. Right? So this one is shall not solicit or accept the contract from a body or agency in which the principal or officer or the organization serve as a member of that body. Okay, this is more to um, connections in getting a work. So these are the direct impact of our code of conducts for professional engineers with practicing certificate. And if you go through the next group also, for professional engineers, I think they will be repeating the same thing, only the way we boundary ourselves. Mm. So this is the thing that repetitive from the above, from the previous discussion, and we don't want to go through one by one again lah, because it's just repetition, and try not to uh, read the same thing lah. So if you read the same thing, only repetition, whatever. Then we have the graduate engineers. In fact, the same thing, only the way where he is involved here. And we got one more, engineering technologies, same thing, and also the IOW, same thing, and the last one, settle. So this is the way that it's been spelled in our code of professional conduct. So here in this document, showing and explaining about the code of conduct of registered person for PE, PC, PE, engineering tech, IOW, GE, graduate engineers, registered person. Okay, I think that will be end of the code of conducts in the circular number 001. And I think this one, same thing, same thing, uh, become a, a previous documentation when we're talking about we are supposed to go for this safety, health, and welfare of the public as a first priority. Secondly, we need to take care assignment only, or to take assignment only we are qualified by education and experience, and we are also issue a public statement and objective and truthful manners. We are shall act for the employer for a faithful agent or trustee. We should take himself conduct honorably, responsibly, ethically, and lawfully to enhance the honor, reputation, and usefulness of the profession. And this is on 2024. So we got two final documents, which is circular number 3/2005 is still valid, and circular number 1/2716 is still valid too. So these two documents is still available in our website. We can see and we can see about it and see if you can get something from here. I don't want to read one by one again, but the thing is now you should understand where is our engineering profession should be respected by having this code of conducts fairly implemented in our engineering works services culture. So it's part of our responsibility to ensure the implementation of code of conducts based on these two final documents, this one and also this one, be adhered and be been follow in order to take care of our professions among engineers and other registered persons too. So with that notes, I think I will end the briefing or the sharing session on the code of conducts. Starting from the previous, we talk about the engineering education. Then we go for engineering learned body. We talk about IEM, mindset, and also ACM and also MAE too. And we differentiate the role and function of these two between regulatory and also the learned society works in hands to have a good synergies where we talk about the engineering profession as a whole and the engineering each of us in the same business where we service, we offer our service as an engineers to protect everybody in the same engineering members to avoid any unwanted harm for our profession, our reputation, and also our business as a whole practices is concerned. So we have talked about it for about 2 hours, 1 hour and 50 minutes and now, and we hope that we can share things here through your SOC mats, and we have this thing should be recorded and bring it up to the public to know this is how we take care of our profession, starting from the engineering education up to the practicing engineers, and this is how it been drawn clearly for us to interest in this engineering world lah. So hopefully it will can benefit for you in Somalia and as well as us in Malaysia too. Because when I'm reading this, I also need to refresh many things so that I'm also learning at the same time when I read this thing again for this 2025 year. So hopefully with that note, we can get benefits, and hopefully again we can make sure our reputation as engineers in wherever that we are, either here in Malaysia or there in Somalia, is very highly respected professions, and we can keep it continuously for our future generations to become an engineers too. So with that note, I thank again for the organizer and the Association of Engineers Somalia for inviting me for this session tonight. And hopefully it is a good one for all of you to learn from our experience in Malaysia. Same goes to us also to learn from your experience in promoting engineering services in Somalia. So is there any question that we can entertain? Please let me know. Thank you. I'll pass over to the organizer. Yeah, please.
Hello, teacher. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. This. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. First of all, in Malaysia, the engineering profession is regulated. Regulated means that you are only allowed to do the engineering services if you are qualified by education. So we protect the both engineering services and also the public, because engineering services involve the public interest. You build up a house, for example, a office, a buildings, a road, bridges, electrical, mechanical, all those is actually hazardous or harmful if you don't protect the work in terms of the qualification and the competency of the designers and the construction teams. So that is the basis. Meanwhile, the IES or IEM in Malaysia is more to the learned body. They are not regulated. They are more into sharing platform for us to have the common interest with the same topic, and it's not regulated. Meaning to say that in order for you to take charge for those who are what we call that misconduct in the engineering activities or engineering works, you can only do that if you regulate them. You need to register them. You need to choose who is actually your people. You need to do a sort of uh, screening by education and also by the competency level. Then only you allow them to deliver their work. That's supposed to come through an acts. I mean the regulated by your parliamentary uh, acts, not through the learned body, because learned body cannot do anything because it's just a society matters. But when come to uh, laws enforcement and sued and to be sued, that needs another level of level of participation. In this case, is actually by having it on the rule, rule. So this is actually a rule for everybody, must be mandatory in your countries, so that it can be take up any issues according to the law. So the law become the reference for the engineers, because we are working under the law. We are working under the law. Services that we are providing is actually not only regulated, but also closely monitored by the law. I'm not sure about Somalia's practices, but that need to be there if you want to protect both the engineers and also the public who take up the services from the engineers. If the Somalia don't have the law the law yet for that, maybe we can establish one through the IES later on, and we can. I mean, of course, on my side, we can provide the knowledge and the consultancy for your behalf, so that we can have it in properly established, so that it can be set up as a law for engineers to work within the advisable laws or enforceable law. It's not a beneficial thing, sir. It's actually the way you control your person who going to take the responsibility in delivering the engineering services. It's not a beneficial thing. It's actually for those for people who want to take who you want to regulate them. You need to describe them. You want to regulate a people, so you need to describe the people. Only you can regulate them. If not, everybody can do design, everybody can do construction, everybody even they don't have or that knowledge also they can provide the services, which is very harmful, very dangerous for public. So in order for you to protect the public, you need to have the people who can do the work, deliver the work in accordance to the best engineering practices. Then the only person who can do that is actually the engineers who can do that. They should graduate from the engineering school or engineering faculty with the proper knowledge academically and gain an experience through years of services, and then he can be considered as a professional in that service areas, and then he can deliver his work um, effectively and also safely to the benefit of all people. So that is the benefits comes later. If you don't have this PE, for example, it's okay. The construction can be still there. Only if something happen, what action you can take because you don't regulate them. In order for you to regulate people, you need to bring that people into your territory. For example, if you have a kid, the kid must be in your house, then you can regulate that kids. But if the kids is actually in somebody else, somebody house, for example, other somebody kids, how you can regulate other people's kids? You can regulate your own kids only. So in order for you to regulate the kids must be in your house. So in order for you to regulate the engineers in ensuring the good delivery of work and ensure the safety and public interest is taken care, you need to regulate the engineers under your own house. So your house here is actually should be enacted with the most powerful source of power. In this case, your parliament. If you have the parliament, I'm not sure about your constitutional of countries, but there must be a clear source of power in order for you uh, to regulate the engineers. Not only engineers, many other a profession also in Malaysia is being regulated. We have the Department of Environmental, for example, they has about 11 programs regulated under their laws. We have Energy Commission to regulate the energy, the electrical wireman, the electrical, the gas supplier, things like that. We have the Department of Safety and Health to regulate the safety and health matters. So meaning to say that you only can regulate people if they are in your own house. So you can only regulate your own kids if your kids in your house. You cannot regulate other people's kids because they are not in your house. So things like that is very common, and you can do that by having a supreme power under the parliamentary approval so that we can deliver the work under the pressure of regulations rather than you keep everybody can come and do their works anonymously without having know their background or their qualification or their knowledge or their academic um, attainment. So this is very, very important. Any other question? Okay. Sorry. Again. Okay, doesn't matter. Now, let me share with you what we want in order for you to get the certificate. The first thing, I want everybody to download our mobile application, which is a Mega Jati Academy mobile application from our from Google Play or Apple Play Store, which is this one. Okay, you can research our name, Mega Jati Academy. We have a mobile apps there, and from here you will be you'll need to register a quick registration, and after register you will go to this kind of I mean layout, and your organizers will issue the certificate to me. I will ask my IT team to embed the certificate under the, you can find here that later. From these three lines, just find the words my certificate. So your cert will be appear here. What I need from your side, from the organizer side, is actually your registration email, your phone number, your name, and also the certificate. This only, maybe you want to go for my ID, or you got the ID name or passport numbers, things like that, just to ensure this certificate is belong to you. So if your organizer can do that, I will provide the certificate through the mobile apps only. We don't have to have any other means of having the certificate manually through email or whatnot. So just download the apps now, and then wait for the certificate to be live in your in your apps through these three lines, dashboard items. So you will see my certificate over here, my cert. So from there you will reach to your cert from the application. So please do that in order for you to get the certificate from our side. And again, one more thing, I asked for the organizers to launch this meeting into the short maps, especially from YouTube channel, and share to me again, so that we can also take the benefits from the lectures tonight for everybody who are interested in this topic. Please share with me the link for the YouTube channel for this. Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you,
Maksud
Abdul
saya,
Aziz.
Jazakallah khair.